Hey crafters, today we're going to be looking at ink blending tools and doing a little comparison on which ink blending tools are actually the best out there. I'm going to be sharing with you today my favorite ink blending tool of all time. I'm going to be showing you the best ink blending tool for those on a budget. I'm going to also be talking about the amount of ink blending tools you need and some alternative options. Now, if you're one of those people who is sitting here and have tried a bunch of blending tools and your blending still doesn't look good and you've practiced, then I'm going to tell you the problem is most likely in your paper. So grab a bunch of pieces of white cardstock that you may have from different brands and give them all a test to see which blends best. I've always blended on Neenah Solar white cardstock without any issue, but recently I tried Bristol Smooth and that's a game changer. It is so smooth the inks glide right over top, so check your cardstock first. Now let's start with the original Ranger blending tool. You can get great results with this. This was used for years by so many crafters while there were no options available. Now the key is with this one to start off the cardstock and work your way in. Use a light hand and blend in a circular motion and be patient. Build up the color slowly and you'll get the best results. Now, the pros about this tool here is that it's pretty inexpensive. For about $7 US, you get 2 handles and you'll get quite a few foams to go with it. Refill foams for about a 20-pack retail also for around $7. Now these are Velcro, so you can replace them between uses. You can also wash them. So you can have just the 2 blending tools and the foams that they come with and just wash them between colors, but it does make you require to dry them before you use them again. So I do recommend picking yourself up 1 package of refills and 1 package of 2 handles. Ideally, I like to have between 3 and 5 handles so that I don't have to sit there and replace foams as I'm switching colors on a card panel. It's rare I go over 5 colors when I'm blending a card panel. Now, a lot of people had issues with those tools, and there have been so many improvements since then. One being the Scrapbookcom blending tool with foam applicators. Now the handles are virtually the same as the Ranger blending tool, so if you have those handles already, just grab yourself a refill pack of these foam applicators that are domed. Now the pros about this is that they are much easier to blend. I find I don't have to have such a light hand when I'm doing this in order to not get harsh lines. And because it has an edge that is domed, it doesn't tend to produce the harsh lines like the Ranger blending tool foams do. So I find it easier to avoid the harsh lines, but I use them in the same way as the Ranger blending tool. I build my color up gradually, I start from the outside, work my way in, and I use a circular motion. I find the foams for these to be a little higher quality as well. They seem to be thicker and they seem to really work well when removing them. I found with some of my Ranger ones, all of a sudden the pad kind of fell apart when I was switching between them, where the Scrapbookcom ones I have that less. It has happened to me once, but not as often as comparison to the Ranger blending tools. Now retail, these are a little bit more expensive. They're around $8, but they're always on sale, I find, for $5.99. And the refill packs as well are a little bit more on the expensive side. You get about 10 refills for around the same price as you would for 20 refills of the Ranger blending tool. But as I said, they seem to be higher quality and last longer. So in the end, I'm not really sure if they're more expensive or not. Now the blending brushes from Scrapbookcom, or Clarity Stamps makes these as well, are really large tools. Now these look great as a home decor piece in a pretty jar in your craft room, but we're here to talk about usage more. These wash out really easily, or you can simply go off on a piece of paper until there is no more color left in the brush. Both options work for cleaning, so you don't need many of these. And they come from Scrapbookcom in a 3-pack, so that's generally all you'll need. The price retails for $35, but I find Scrapbookcom always has them on sale for somewhere between the $15 and $20 mark. Now the pros of this one here is it allows you naturally to build up the color slowly. So for those of you that are heavy-handed, this might be a good option for you. Now the other nice thing about them is that it allows you to blend it up slowly. So if you're going for a really soft blend, this is really easy to achieve with these blending brushes. Now the other thing that is also really good, I find, is that they're really large, so I don't get any sort of pains in my hand when I'm using these.
So that's really nice. And all you need to do is go back and forth. And sometimes you'll even get the textures of the hair from the brushes, which is also its own really pretty texture and look. Now the whole game has been changed since the life-changing blending brushes from Picket Fence. So this was the first idea, I guess you could say, of using these handled makeup brushes in card making or in ink blending. Now for these, they come in a variety pack, or you can get a couple of packs that are all the same size. What's nice is I have a brush for each color family. So one brush is dedicated to all blue inks, and all you need to do is have a scrap piece of paper off to the side there, rub it off until you see no more ink, and then it's clean, or you can wash them and let them dry, but that takes a while. If you've ever washed makeup brushes, you know it takes forever for them to dry. So I know a lot of people are gonna say, hey, the ones on Amazon are like 5 times less the price, and they are exactly the same. Buyer beware, I don't have the ones from Amazon. I have heard they're the same or very similar, so you can check them out there as well if you like. I don't wanna upsell you on something more expensive when you can get it cheaper elsewhere, but these are just the ones that I have. So that's my little disclaimer for today's video. Now these allow you to be heavy-handed if you want. You don't really get harsh lines at all unless you kind of like dive your brush into the cardstock. And what's really great, you'll see I'm starting off the cardstock, working my way in, I'm blending, I'm getting a nice soft blend. So you build up the colors as you go, similar to the other tools, but as I said, the chances of you getting harsh lines with these, unless you're really digging your brush in there, is pretty much minimal. And they're really beautiful to work with. They clean well, they're nice and smooth to the touch, and the packaging itself is really great. I mean, the handle works well. You know, it's really easy to get that good blend. All right, moving on to the brushes from Tailored Expressions. These ones here are really beautiful in the sense that they come in a nice little stand, so they're almost like a home decor piece. You have the handles in the various colors, so if you use them like me, where all yellows get the same yellow brush, it works really well. They're pretty, and they are functional. They work just as good as the Picket Fence ones, I find. I don't find a huge difference in my blending ability between the two brushes. It's more of an aesthetic look, to be honest with you. But I like the fact that it comes with its own little storage unit. Well, it's separate, but you know, there's the option available, you could say. And I like the fact that they have the colors already on them, because my Picket Fence brushes, I'm gonna have to label them or something, because sometimes they get so dirty after a while you can't tell which color's which. So overall, I love these. These are a lot, similar price as the life-changing blending brushes. Both of these sets range at around the $50 mark, so they're definitely an expensive option. And as I said, if you're wanting to save money but you want to try these brushes, you can definitely try some of the ones out on Amazon. That works as well. If you want this pretty aesthetic look with all the different colors, there aren't really many alternatives for you. It is the price that it is. All right, the next brushes that have come on the market are the Ergonomic blending brushes. Both Altenew and Pink and Main have come out with them. The main difference is that Altenews are white bristles and Pink and Main have brown bristles. Now, I haven't used these for an extended period of time because they're still new, so I may have to change my opinion later. But so far, so good. I like the ergonomic handle. I'm someone who has pain in my hands when I'm gripping things, so I like the fact that the ergonomic handle helps me in that sense. They blend just as well as the blending brushes do. I found that I got perfect blends pretty much every time that I tried them, and the tool's new to me. The only difference that I found between the two companies and the two bristles is that the Pink and Main ones tended to start kind of clumping together, I guess you could say. The bristles weren't very individual, you could say. Like the Altenew stayed the same as when they were new after I used them, but I used the Pink and Main ones a couple of times and then the bristles started to sort of clump together. But I didn't find that that affected the way that they blended in any way. It just was the way that they blended. I'm not too sure why. So overall, I like both of the tools. They work really well. They come in a great size. They cover a lot of surface area, but because they retail at the $12 mark, and if I want one for each color family, this is a super expensive option in that sense. So pros and cons definitely for this tool, but overall I'm very satisfied with the blending ability of the tool if that's what we're judging it solely on. You're able to see both of these brushes in action between the two different cards here. You can see that they work exactly the same. Also, a quick note that Pink and Main does have mini brushes in this version. They are $9, so a little bit cheaper, $3 saving. And the only difference between these ones, of course, is that you're getting a little less coverage. So if you're looking at going into more smaller areas, this is also an option. The nice thing is, though, that the ergonomic handle is exactly the same size as the large tool, because I thought, oh, smaller tool, smaller handle, how is that ergonomic? So yeah, these work also just as well.
So which one is my favorite blending tool? Now I am going to name one specific blending tool, but a few considerations first. One of my favorite looks in cards is when you have ink blending and it gradually fades to white. And I am able with these ergonomic blending tools to not have such heavy of a hand. And I'm able to get that beautiful look from extending from color to white that looks flawless, because I find when using the ergonomic hand, I find that I need to build up the ink a little bit slower. When you're looking for a combination of what can look good in your craft room but still get the job done, the tailored expression ones really are awesome.
Now, before we jump into my favorite tool, let's see what you had to say. Now, over on the community tab on my channel, if you haven't been there before, I like to ask questions, see what kind of videos you want to see, and give you a sneak peek behind the scenes of some of my projects. Now, in here, I decided to ask which one is your favorite, and 58% of you said the blending brushes, followed by 29% the blending tool with the detachable foam pad. Now, while I have you here, be sure to go ahead and click that subscribe button, and when you hit the bell, be sure to click all. If you're a subscriber and haven't been getting the notifications for my video, it's probably because the personalized button or none button is clicked. YouTube's recently changed that, so be sure to change that over if you want to receive notifications every time I put out a video.
So I'm sure you're wondering at this point, which one is my personal favorite? And I said I think it's going to surprise you, because my favorite is one of the most affordable options. I love the domed foam from Scrapbookcom. First of all, it's budget friendly. I like the fact that the foams come in a refill pack, and what I do is I try and have one per ink pad that I usually blend with, so I don't have to wash them in between. Now, practice really does make perfect when it comes to ink blending. I'm able to ink blend with all of these tools without getting harsh lines. So that doesn't play a huge factor in how I do this, because I've practiced so much that I do have the proper pressure on my hand for blending inks. As long as I have good cardstock, it works. So although I would definitely recommend one of the blending brushes, regardless of which one, for those of you that might be a bit heavy-handed and really want success from the beginning, for me personally, I've practiced so much on these older tools that regardless of the tool that I use, it works for me. Now, generally, I reach for all of these tools at different points in time, but I definitely think the Scrapbookcom foam tools are the ones I reach for most. So now that you know what my favorite ink blending tool is, you're welcome to check out the videos on choosing the best ink pads, or perhaps the video on ink pad types if you're interested in learning more about inks and how even they can help you with blending. Thanks so much for watching. Have a wonderful week. Bye for now.